Hello, everybody. It is Larissa here and Larissa McCook, and I'm here with Sheena Cantar. She is a student of this type of work. She is super cute, she is savvy, and she is so funny. She is also Irish, and she has agreed to pop on a call with me today to tell you a little bit more about her self-image journey and some of the journey that she's had by getting into the type of work that we do and really shifting her mindset. So she's an absolute delight. She's got an awesome accent, and I am so honored to have you here. So thanks for popping on, Sheena.
Thanks for having me, Larissa. I hope everybody understands me. Of course you will.
Of course you will. You're adorable. I love it. I want an accent too. So you've been doing this work for a while now. Tell me, how was your self-image, like the image you perceived of yourself before you really got into what we're doing right now?
Well, I thought I knew it all. I thought I had the answer for absolutely everything because I'd done all the qualifications. Of course, I have. I've read about, 1,000 books, done all different programs and coaching courses. So on one end, I had this image that I knew things, but there was this little person inside me. I mean, I used to even say that about myself. I'd go, wee Sheena. And it wasn't until my friend said that to me one time. She goes, why are you calling yourself that? Look at all the stuff you've achieved. And I went, but I'm still me. I still felt like the little girl that didn't know anything, that had to work harder than everybody else to get results. And that was the thing that literally I didn't realize was holding me back. And I heard somebody say one time that we can have such a positive mental attitude up here, but our body's coming from lack. And oh my goodness, did I really see that open up in front of me? But I didn't know that at the time. I just worked harder and harder and harder, and then to lose everything. So how can you have more qualifications, work harder than you've ever done before, and yet lose everything? I was just like, something's not right here. What is it? So that did lead me to this work.
Would you say that losing everything that you worked so hard to build up, was that your defining moment or your turning point in your life?
Well, it took me about 2 years to get out of that because I was so beat up on myself. It's like, here's the victim. Oh, poor me. And then here's the bully. Well, you stupid. And, that constant battle between the two things held me in place for 2 years. And it wasn't until I had just, I just did the work over and over and over and over again. And I had such real control issues about just everything, but I had to learn to let go of the control. But because of the stories that I felt were pushing me down, until they started to clear, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see above where I was supposed to go. So the victim and the bully thing really held me in place. So it took a couple of years for me to work through myself, but it started to happen more whenever I did the proper work, the work that actually shifts you rather than the knowledge. That doesn't shift you. That's just vain knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And so what was that shift for you? So you spent a couple years doing something and moving in the right direction, but what was that shift for you when you're actually like, okay, I'm going to really do the work and I'm going to really start to shift things because clearly I know everything, but it's not working.
I had to empty the cup. I had to empty the cup and really, follow what I was being told to do every single day. And I did it every single day. I developed the consistency and the persistence. It was no longer, I know this stuff. You know what was really my moment? As soon as I would say, well, I know this, then I knew that there was something blocking me from carrying on doing the work. So I would then sit down with a lesson and I would do that lesson over and over and over again. And then something would shift. But it was as if there was something inside me going, oh, no, you don't need to see this, Sheena. It's all right. It doesn't matter. You can just crack on and learn something else. And then I would go, no, I don't know it because I haven't got the results. And so I just kept doing the same work over and over again until it shifted. So it was just literally consistency and persistence. And the fact that I had a really great, coach who coached me through and kept me accountable and held me accountable. And that somebody was just to go, I don't know what's happening here. I'm stuck. Why is that? But the answer was all the time. The answer was in the material that I was studying. And I would just study it over and over and over again, but not new material. It was stuff I apparently knew. It was like the same stuff that I had to dig deeper and dig deeper because I had to dig deeper in me It was no longer superficial. It had to go so deep, so many layers deep, that I could start to shift things that were actually happening.
Yeah, I love that, because the deeper we dig, sometimes I love reading an article for a month or two at a time, and I'll read it every day. And I'm sure you've done that a few dozen times in your experience. But the more you dig, the more you read, every single day you come up with something new. Every single day you learn something new. Every day there's a word, a phrase, an idea that comes up as a result of that. And you start really being able to apply that to yourself and integrate that into your own life. And that's when the changes are really made at that deepest level, when you don't expect them.
Yeah. So listen, let me tell you about when I did the Serenity article, I wrote it out for 90 days. Like, who does that? Who writes an article out for 90 days? I did. And I was wondering, well, why am I doing this? But what happened was, a couple of days later, was I was involved with an articulated lorry hit the car. And as the car came to a halt, I just sort of sat in the car and I thought, well, that was different. Wonder why that happened. Wouldn't it be great if there was a policeman who came here and he just sorted it all out? And I got out of the car so calm. And I looked, and guess what? There was a policeman who'd seen the accident and he sorted everything out. And I just stood there like, and all I had was the words serenity going on and on and on in my head. But my conscious mind was going, well, shouldn't you be freaking out by now? But my body was like, nope, I'm absolutely serene and calm. And I literally took the car and drove it home. And then a year later, because it was obviously like a claim and everything, when I really needed some money came through just at the right time, when I needed it to pay for something else. And I went, oh, go figure. That's why the accident happened. It was that.
Thank you.
I'd reprogrammed myself. That really blew me away, what I realized about the reprogramming.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we need massive emotional impacts. We need these big moments in our lives. For you, one of them was a car accident. We've all had many emotional impacts. But I remember we were having a discussion about money one day, right? And you were like, when I got into this work, I knew there was something I didn't know, but I didn't have the money. And you found the money very quickly when you literally had no resources. And so can you tell people about what happened with that and the story that was going on inside your head? Like, how did you know that you just needed to do something?
Well, I just got to the end of I was sick of myself, absolutely sick of myself. And I knew something had to change, and I would have done absolutely anything. I mean, if they'd have turned around and said, like, it's £100,000, I don't know where I'd have found the money, but I'd have found the money. And so that's what I did. So when I got on a call and had a chat about, like, well, the program cost this, and I just go, right, okay, well, I'm 70 grand in debt. I'm minus 2 grand in my bank account. And I'm saying yes. And they're just looking at me, go, well, where are you going to get the money from? I don't know. Well, are you committed? And I said, 100%, this is happening. And that was the thing. There was nothing separating me from, I was sick of where I was. Something had to change. This was the opportunity. And so I just made the decision to do it. And then within 3 hours, so when I put the phone down, I went, right, universe, how is this going to happen? But I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I did actually let go, because there was so much tension in me, because I was so forward in doing it, that actually I sat back, and when I let go and things started to pop in my head, and what I did was I acted on it immediately. I mean, literally an idea just popped in, and I just went straight on the phone, called somebody, and I borrowed the money, and that was it. And I paid them back now. So it was just, I knew I had to do something, so I acted on the idea as soon as it came in. And I've learned that since. It's like decide, act. And basically that's what I did. There's no excuses as far as I'm concerned. You want change, you got to do something for it. Just Absolutely. Do it.
And I think the faster that we make decisions, the better things work out in the end. And you have a 50-50 chance of being right. And you probably have an 80 or 90% chance of being right when you actually follow the first response before you talk yourself out of it.
Oh my goodness, yeah. If I'd have left it, I mean, if I'd have I didn't speak to anybody. That was the other key thing. I didn't speak to anybody, because I knew this was a big decision, and I just had to literally keep it to myself. It was like a little baby. I was just like, nobody's touching this. I don't want somebody else's opinion to get in the way of my life. This is my life. I'm resonating with this. I need to step forward. And so basically that's what I did. So, no money is just an excuse. You can have all the wants, and then you can have an excuse. Well, take your pick. Peggy McCall said it one time. She went, make money or make excuses. And I went, and then I realized, oh my goodness, I can never make another excuse ever.
Yeah.
So basically, I can't make excuses. You want your results? You can't have an excuse. Take your pick.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for reminding me of that. When you know something, you need to be reminded over and over again, because things come in and out of your mind until you reinforce them. So repetition is key. Yeah. Now, so since you've really fully started embodying this, you've made some big decisions in your life. Tell me how your life has changed. How are things different for you?
Oh my goodness, I was the person. So I'm a typical Aries. I know that's a typical thing to say for an Aries. Is just like straight, do, action, action, action. Real paradigm was to sit back and imagine and relax and be first before doing. And another thing was, because of that victim and bully thing, I wasn't accepting where I was. So as soon as I started to accept where I was and to love me and to really do the work inside me, because it was me was the core of everything, that when I did that, as soon as I started to accept me, within 3 months, I'd moved house. And so, Larissa, I had like a big goal up here, and I had, what I call like maybe lesser goals, but the big one up here, because it was centered in my heart, that came like a gift in my hand, was to move house to the beautiful barn conversion that I'm in now, with grounds that, well, I can't see any other houses in front of me. So that's the thing. I just moved, and then I just learned how to settle and settle and settle. But it was the acceptance. It was slowing down. It was being. I feel at peace. Ease, flow, joy is my mantra. Oh, and do everything just for the pure joy of it. Stop taking yourself so seriously and start to enjoy life and have that fun. And then like make time in your day for fun. I'd stopped horse riding. So I started to ride again during the day. Stopped having coffees with friends. So I started to do stuff like that again. All the stuff that I used to love, I'd stopped doing. And so I started introducing it to my life. And it sounded really weird, because during the day, well, you can't be riding during the day, Sheena. You're supposed to work. And I'm like, I'm going to go riding. And sometimes I'd come back and I'd get good news. And I would just be like, oh, well, that was worth going riding for. So it's a lot more easier.
Yeah. And another thing we've been recently talking about is, as soon as you start having more fun, isn't that when business starts to roll in? Isn't that when clients start to roll in? Isn't that when opportunity starts to roll in? And that's when you're horseback riding and you come back and you're like, oh, thank you. So
absolutely.
It's kind of predictable. It's funny and it's fun. But I think that's something that we can all learn, because we tend not to do that kind of stuff in our lives.
It feels weird to have so much space around you. That's one thing, Larissa, that I felt. I would sit and I would be like, I've got all this space. Because I don't know if anybody else has felt this, but I felt a constant rushing forward. I mean, it was really evident whenever things started to calm down in my life that my body was still trying to rush forward. And it was like I'd been done that all my life. But I look at my mum was doing the same. We were always going forward. And now it was a time was to allow and to receive. And it was okay to sit. But then I literally felt like space around me. And I'm like, oh, I'm not rushing anymore. Oh my God, this is what it's like to feel Sheena. I hadn't really felt me before. And so it's that peace. It's what I say to people is, it's peace before prosperity. And I have a new mantra: the less I work, the more I earn. Like, I just love it. The less I work, the more I earn. And I can walk around the house just saying that. And I just go, I love this. I love this new world.
And so, with the center of your being, that you've got infinite potential. And how do you express that to other people?
Oh, I think they see it. They see it. And, like we had some people here. They had my hairdresser to the house yesterday, and her daughter was there, and she said she had an allergy. And I says, allergy, not on my watch, and it's just like, you can't help it, but, just to express about how powerful your mind is. And is that if you think you've got an allergy, well, you've got an allergy. I mean, if you're 8 years old and you're told you've got an allergy and you compound that for the rest of your life, well, then you've got an allergy. But what if we just told ourselves a different story? And that's the thing. So whenever I was younger, I was told, well, you're not academically minded, Sheena. But, I think I must have gone out to prove it. I didn't realize I'd gone out to prove it with all the different qualifications, a master in this, a master in that, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I think I'd set myself out to prove it. But I then lived my life as a secretary to begin with, because I thought that's what I was. But now, oh my goodness, that's where life is actually really exciting. It's the fact that you can think that, what's next? I don't know what I'm capable of. I don't know. And that's what makes every single day exciting. And I've stopped hanging on to my goal because I know it's coming. Like, I just know it's coming. So I've been able to let go of it and embrace everything. Everything is here for my good. Everything, even the stuff that you think is negative, that's just your ego having a trip going, oh, that doesn't fit into my plan, so it must be negative. No, it's all here for your growth. That's what's so exciting. So we move into that everything is here for me phase. Like, isn't that wonderful? When it doesn't matter what it is, you can go, well, it's for me, so I can't see it yet, but obviously it's for my good. And then the next thing, you see what it's there for. Wow, that's what's awesome. And yet, when I think of how small I'd kept myself, I don't know if you know the story, Larissa, about when I went to join the RAF as a secretary, and I had to do an IQ test, and I came out of the IQ test with like 160, and I didn't even understand what that meant. But they said to me, "Oh, well, we want you to be an officer." And I thought, "What's an officer? Isn't that leading people?" Well, that's not me. I never went back, because I thought they'd got the wrong test results. And so I hid. And I literally didn't answer the phone calls or anything. I mean, how daft is that? But I didn't know. That's what we do, though. We keep ourselves under here, don't we? And it's just like, no, my goodness, when you start to clear that away, you start to rise. And I have no clue, but I'm just excited about every day now. So excited.
Amazing. I can feel your excitement, and I know everyone here can also feel your excitement, because you've just got this passion for life. You've got this enthusiasm, and it didn't happen overnight, but the change happened in an instant, right? You thought about it, you wanted it, you hoped for it, you wished for it. But when you finally made that decision, that committed decision, that's when everything changed. And sometimes we don't see the results of those decisions right off the bat. But one day you wake up and you look back and you go, wow, this is why I wrote Serenity for 90 days. Wow, this is why I wake up at 5 a.m. every day to study. Wow, this is what I do. This is why I do what I do, because life is good. I'm happy. I can help other people transform their lives. And I'm making a difference in the world. And people see that. When other people see that and comment, it's such a gift, isn't it?
They can feel it from you. They can literally feel it. You know, you can walk into a room and suck the energy out of a room, or you can walk in and bring the energy into the room. And that's, I didn't know I was doing that, but that's basically what you start to do. And people want that. But it's just, if you can just make your day like just helping people smile, putting a smile on people's face, I mean, that's just priceless in itself. So yeah, people do feel that energy around you.
Amazing. So if you were to leave viewers that are diving into self-image work with a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. You're so much more than you think you are. It's just that the thinking that you've got has got you so locked in. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who knows this work. Talk to Larissa. Just talk to them, because they can help you open up, because you think you know, but it's only because you're in your box and you know everything in that box. That's great. But there's another box and another box and another box. You have absolutely no idea what it is that you've got. And there's something, you're here, but there's something here holding you back. I think of it like you're tied to a tree with a bungee rope. And you get to go so far, but then it's exhausting, and then you spring back. But did you know that you didn't have to be tied to the tree in the first place? And the tree's like your old self-image, and you're trying to be this new person. And it's not what you wear. It doesn't matter what you wear. It's who you're being. And don't you want to be at peace, at ease, in joy? Well, you can have it, but you will never outgrow your self-image the way it is now. There's work to be done, but now you know it's no longer a secret. It's a system. You just follow the system. You know what to do. Woohoo! Thank God for that. I'm glad I came upon it.
Follow the recipe, follow the instructions.
Exactly, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being on here and for sharing your experiences and your perspective on self-image work and the transformation it's done for you in your life. And I hope to have you back again because I absolutely love you. I could just listen to you talk all day long. You are absolutely delightful. So thanks so much. And I hope everyone got some